Okay, I guess should be recording this stuff, but we'll start recording. All we've done was add in a invoke command, computer name, the same computer name that we pinged up above, and we're running this invoke command allows you to run a remote PowerShell on the computer using the dash script block and all of the PowerShell commands that you want to run on the remote computer. Did it throw the Windows Update log on my desktop? Or did it throw, yeah, it did. It dumped the Windows Update log on my desktop. No, that's not the Windows Update. Yeah, it is. Right, Cat. That's not the log, though.
No, it's supposed to be. That's what I got.
Okay, well, it didn't actually put all of this stuff in there, but we just wanted to display it on the screen. Well, what? All right, yours had some interesting stuff. 1600. Interesting. I'm gonna dump that file. All I wanted was something cool to do, and I thought that was kind of maybe cool. It took a little while to run. That may be longer than what I want. Whoa, fingers are way off.
I think I may have found the problem. I think you changed your computer number for user input one.
Yeah. There we go. I keep looking at counts and think I see C and log name security dash. Yep. Scuty. That's going to be a long file. I'm looking for something to be a little faster to run. Event logs being blocked from me. It's a firewalling issue. Get Windows Edition. Let's check that out. Run selection. It needs a parameter. Is it the target? Okay, yeah, that's kind of cool. Get volume drive letter C. And that's fairly quickly. Let's cut that, and I'm going to put in the script block, see if that's better than dumping the entire update log. So if I rerun the invoke command, let's see if it will communicate remotely. I may have to try server 3. No, it went remotely. So that's kind of cool. Those commands I think we'll settle with today. Just hunting and pecking, what do we want to do? I want to make this script a little bit better than what it is. It's basically serial, everything runs one line at a time and then just quits out. So a fairly simple script. Non-interactive. Most PowerShell scripts are non-interactive, but well, we do have some interaction. That's we hit Control F5 and it does ask us some questions here, like what node do you want to ping? Server 3, and hit enter how many times you want to ping at one time, and it runs that, and then it also dumps out and gives us volume information for the C drive. So running it remotely got us a lot more info. It got us some size, but it's not in regular human readable format. I'm going to look at the get volume again, see if there's an extra switch that can be added with it. I'm gonna pipe it to the select statement. And I just want to put in size remaining. Let me run this command, see if it has a little bit shorter output. So it did. We may look at some info on that. Notice the select is underlined. It really should be select as object is what it's wanting us to do. So go ahead and update your script. I can get mine to full screen. And we'll start looking to make this here a little bit non-linear. So we have multiple commands. We got 3, 4, and 5 is asking a user a question. 6 is just pinging. Number 7 is running that command to get the volume information on the remote computer. So we'll look at beautifying that later on. What we may want to do with a script like this is to expand it out. So I want to go ahead and copy this and put it into a new file, just so you can have an original example of just running things one line at a time and then finishing out. So let's go ahead and make a new file and save it as Scratch 04. Make sure you select PowerShell. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. I am going to turn these into functions. So, what is a function? A function is a set of PowerShell code that you can run. Jacob, why don't you just log out and leave? You're not paying attention to the class. You're just on your phone. Go ahead and leave. Okay, so functions. We want to break this up into, we're doing 2 separate things here. We're doing a ping test, and a separate thing, we are wanting to check the drive letter. And we may want to check the drive letter, say, on another computer. So I want to turn this into a program whether they can ask me, like hit number 1 to do a ping test, hit number 2 on the keyboard to check the size left on a computer system. We may even change this drive letter here into a variable so that we can ask the user not only computer name, but also drive letter. Let's change the C here to a $. Let's do user input 3. In front of invoke command, let's go and do user input 1 and user input 2. Sorry, user input 3. And let's ask a question. So I'm going to copy my read host up here in these prompts, and I'm just going to paste it twice. And I'm going to change what's being asked right here. So user input 1 is going to be asking for the computer name, and we want to work it with the invoke command. So I'm going to want to ask somebody, what node do you want to check for drive space? Leave it all lowercase. What node do you want to check for drive space? The next question, what drive letter do you want to check? So if we run this, it's going to ask a question for what node do you want to check for drive space. So you could type in server 1, server 2, server 3, client 1, whatever. You can also do, it'll also ask what drive letter do you want to check. But if we run it right now, it's going to ask us this question. What do you want to ping? How many times do you want to ping it? Give us the report. And then it's going to ask us another question. What node do you want to check for drive space? We'll type something else. What drive letter do you want to check? We'll type a drive letter and it'll print that out. But I want to turn this into where we get like a menu on the screen. Option 1 says to like run the ping test. Option 2 says run a volume or drive letter test. And then maybe option 3, quit. So 2 technologies that we need to implement for this will be functions. So we gather these up into a single name. We're basically going to create our own PowerShell commandlet. And then the second is known as a switch. Most other coding languages, if anybody's dabbled with one, which Sean probably has, you've heard of the word case probably. I believe in the operating systems class, you also used case, right? Bash scripting, I thought we used case. I don't remember if they had a lab on that, if they went that far or not. But they may not have done that. Case is really, really fun, but before we get into that, I just want to turn these into functions. So what a function basically is real easy to do. You surround the code in curly brackets. So I'm going to surround all of this in curly brackets. And what I might do is, let's see, if is this going to work? Yeah. If you highlight the code and tab, it tabs it over to beautify the code a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing with the other block, surround it in curly brackets. And I'm going to highlight this code and tab it over.
There is a problem with it.
What?
You've got it set to either input O3, but on dry butter is either input 3.
Yep. Saw the typo right there, and it does yellow underline it. Everybody see it, a yellow underlined? I just happen to not see the thing, so put a 0 there. Now it's no longer underlined. So I haven't created a function quite yet. We've blocked these off into curly brackets, so now we've kind of separated these two codes out, and we're going to give them a name. And it's not too terribly hard to give functions names. You just type function. Why is that underlined? No name given to it. Function, and you give it a name. If you kind of want to follow PowerShell's line of thought, you come up with a verb dash noun to give it a name, something that doesn't already exist. We are getting stuff, get. And you know, there's a get volume, but we can maybe do get we could call it maybe get drive space. We'll go with Sean's get drive space. So you just need to make sure that there's not a PowerShell command that also called get drive space. But I started typing, that's one cool thing about Visual Studio Code. It would prompt you and give you a drop-down list as you type, does this command exist or not? It didn't do that, so function get drive space. And then we have the brackets. So that looks pretty cool. Up here at the top, let's create a function for it. Function. And we'll give it a name, get dash. I don't know. What ping? Get dash ping. Yeah, get dash ping does not appear. I can follow their case sensitive. Well, there's not case sensitive, but I'll look at uppercase G. It doesn't really matter in case sensitivity. Get ping, get drive space. If I try to run this right now, I want to make this work before you hit break. We're getting real close to break. Control F5. What happens? So Sean says nothing happened. Actually, something happened, yes. The functions were created, but a function must be ran to work. You know, if you have an empty PowerShell and you try to run an empty PowerShell with nothing in it, well, there's nothing to do. You have to actually type a commandlet to run. So we turned these basically into PowerShell commandlets. So now when you run it, it just recorded it into PowerShell. And I could down here at the prompt, I could run one of these. I get ping now. And it should run the function. And of course, these functions are they're not going to be installed into PowerShell. We could make it to where we could install these into PowerShell, where anytime you open PowerShell, it would run, but we don't want to. We only want these available when we run this script. So what do I want to ping? Server 3, and how many times do you want to ping it? 1, and that works. I could have done the get drive space. And I maybe want to look at server 1. And what drive letter? I only have C drive, so I'll type a capital C, hit enter.
Yeah, I noticed that. I'm not sure what it is.
I'm setting the drive letters null. So that one's failing. We hit break time. I'll have to remember maybe something in the vote command. Let's look at, so Brian's got some red. Most everybody's got reds on that. Where did Brian get red at? Uh-oh, why did it minimize? Okay, so but did your ping work? Okay, let's double check. So your get ping, you got user input 1. What node do you want to ping? So user input 1 needs to be on the computer name. User input 1, that looks good. And then user input 2. You have TNT. We're not doing dynamite. We're doing integer, INT. It's okay. I know the screen up here is kind of small. I have to wear glasses now, so I know I'm missing letters and stuff. I don't know what my excuse is now that I can have glasses, though. Uh-oh. Not count. Wait, cannot validate argument on parameter count. Do control F5 again because you didn't. That has to reread now. Try to get ping. There you go. Yeah, because you didn't rerun the. You changed it, but you never read it back into memory. So Jared, yours doing okay, except for we're getting that null value on the drive letter. All right, Haley said she had some problems. I don't see it up on her screen though. Council meeting, you might fall asleep, too. I haven't been following along.
Yeah, I just missed Monday, and so I've just been kind of watching what you've been doing.
But you still be typing everything. You can watch your phone the whole time. Right here. Micro's hard to see.